So this application, interfacing to an accelerometer as a demonstration project, has been implemented in polyFORTH, which is a high-level version of Forth implemented in a virtual machine on the Green Array's 144 chip. It uses a number of the processors on the chip to implement virtual machine, and it uses an external SRAM for storage of data and stacks. This means that it's significantly slower in operation than native ARRAY-FORTH operating on the processors themselves, and depending on the application, you may wish to completely ignore polyFORTH, or perhaps polyFORTH could be used for some of the slower parts of the application, or it could be used for initial debugging, whereas ARRAY-FORTH can be used for high-performance portions of the application, or for applications that need to have reduced resources, that can't have an external SRAM, for example. So depending on the application and how the device is going to be used, perhaps it'll end up being a mixture of a polyFORTH application and an ARRAY-FORTH application. So each project's different. This particular project, we focused on using polyFORTH as a demonstration project to interface via a SPI interface to an accelerometer. So I'd like to very briefly show where the polyFORTH virtual machine is on the chip, because that is very important, where you're executing on the chip and how you're going to access I/O pins. So this is a map of one corner of the chip. This is the bottom left corner, node 000, and this is node on row 0, column 9, and we have 3 rows of processors here. This is approximately where the Forth virtual machine is currently implemented. Depending on the application running in the remainder of the chip, it may move around so that you can access different I/O resources in different fashions. The Forth virtual machine is mainly these 2 nodes. It uses an SRAM interface, which accesses the SRAM data bus and address and control lines to access an SRAM on those lines. In addition, you can have some programmable extra features that you can add to the virtual machine, which can be entered in these other nodes. The way much of the development is done is to use an external interface to a serial port, which is connected up through these nodes, which are mostly used as wires. When we were discussing accessing additional nodes, it's currently implemented relative to some code that's running in node 108, and depending on what else is running in the system, that could be relocated as well. So that's why when we discuss the messaging system, it's relative to that node 108.